So we are going to rank all the video games that I played in 2023, all the games I played this year. This is hopefully everything I played and nothing has been missed, but you know, it's always a possibility. We know that last year, the game that we know wasn't on there that I had to add was in fact my favorite game of the year, which is the poster that's behind me too. But yeah, otherwise, we're going to rank everything that I played, whether I completed the whole game, whether I played like 2 hours of it, it's all on here. You may also notice if you were here and if you remember my tier list from last year, which is also on YouTube, if anyone hasn't seen that, my tier list from last year is on YouTube. The tiers are only slightly different. Otherwise, this is the exact same template. So we have at the top, love, love, love. Obviously, like my favorite things I played this year. We have def recommend for the things that I think were really good and I'm definitely recommending, but might not be my personal favorites or might not have quite gotten to that. I absolutely adore this level. Good, okay, fine. Games that are still good, okay, fine. But again, I don't have as strong feelings about them for whatever reason. Could be better is basically the games I'm not a big fan of. They could be improved or they're just not my personal favorites. And then we have trash. This used to be, last year this bottom tier was barely played, but this year I feel like even the games that I have only played one session of or only played a couple of hours of, there wasn't anything that I feel like I have no opinion on. So I have replaced that with trash. So things that need to go in the bin that I would rather never play again, basically. Yeah, so that's the tiers we're working with. And then at the bottom, we obviously have all of the games that I've played. For some reason, 2 of these have disappeared when I minimize them. They weren't like that when I set it up, but we'll get to those when we get to them. There's 2 that have done that. That's fine. I guess the other one will be a surprise what it is. But I think this is all the games I played and we're gonna rank them. And you can tell me what you think of these games and where you would place them, if you disagree with me, all of that fun stuff. There are a bunch of games on here that I also played last year, and for the most part, my opinions probably aren't going to be very different. Let's get into it. I know that people complained last year about not being able to see these images, so I have to do this. Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. So I haven't played it for a while. I was playing this at the start of the year because I had a playthrough going with some of my friends, and we haven't played it since the first few months of the year. We really need to get back into it because I freaking love this game and playing with friends is a good time. So this is my reminder now to, within the next week, message in that group chat we have, like, hey, can we play Borderlands again? Can we get back to that? Borderlands 2 is just a good time. It's, you know, it's got humor in it. Some of the humor isn't entirely my taste, but it's just one of those games. It's just a good time. And because it's a game you can play with other people as well, it's just A+. Monster Road Trip. Some of y'all know the Monster Prom franchise. I have a lot of love for the Monster Prom franchise. This isn't an exciting picture because this is a cut down one anyway. But yeah, this is the 3rd game in the Monster Prom franchise. Which the first 2 are just like straight up monster dating sims. The Monster Road Trip one does introduce some like survival mechanics-ish. They're just fun. They're just fun and colourful. I love the art. They're chaotic. I've actually been playing a lot of these games recently. Anyone who's friends with me on Steam may have seen. Horizon is another thing I haven't played since the start of the year, but it is something that I put top tier last year, and I'm still going to put it there, even though I haven't finished it. But that's not a reflection of the game. That's just the fact that I never sit out in that room and play the PlayStation. But it's a game I have no criticisms of. Every time I've played it, I've had a lot of fun. I even enjoy the combat, and I often don't like combat in a lot of games. Like, I have no criticisms of that game, so I do love it, even though I haven't finished it. You disguise your dating sim with a farming simulator? Oh, that doesn't help. There's another game on here that's like a farming simulator type game, and again, when I was playing that, Nathan was like, all you do in games is romance people. I don't know what you want from me. As I said, a lot of these games at this top are the games that I played last year. So if I was playing them last year and I'm still playing them this year, like, obviously they're likely to be highly ranked, right? That's why a lot of these at the top are going to be highly ranked because these are all the ones I pulled directly from last year's tier list that I'm still playing. Resident Evil Village, we finished this year. Resident Evil Village was actually my top game on Twitch this year. I think it said I was in like at least the top like 10% of streamers or something. It's the game I streamed the most on Twitch because we finished it off. And I am going to be playing it again because Unskilled, thank you Unskilled, did actually buy me the DLC, which I'm terrified for. I am terrified to play the DLC. I may cry, but I am going to play it. So we are not done with Resident Evil Village, but I have really enjoyed the experience overall. I'm not putting it in as like a favorite just because there are also things in Village that I hated. But I mean, that means it was effective in being a horror game, but also like it was painful for me. So good game though, and I will attempt to play the DLC on stream at some point. Teamfight Tactics. Again, something I was playing last year. I haven't played very much of it this year, but whenever I do open it up, like I usually enjoy it. I don't have positive feelings about everything in League, we know this, but I do enjoy Teamfight Tactics, even though I'm also very confused. Like they're constantly changing how Teamfight Tactics works, and so every time I open it up, I feel like I'm just confused because everything's different, but I do like it, overall. Fortnite. Clearly some people in here have a very negative opinion of Fortnite. And look, I was once one of those people. Years ago, you could not have gotten me to play Fortnite. I was one of those people who only had negative things to say from the like one time I'd ever played it, and everything I'd heard about it since. But it's now my most played game. I play Fortnite with my best friends almost every single weekend. Like most Sundays of this year, I get up in the morning, I have my breakfast, I get on my computer, and I play Fortnite with Ali and Vanessa. Like that is, it hasn't been every week this year because we've all had a lot of things going on, and also we're all now in 3 different countries, and trying to manage that is something. Played, not completed. Yeah.
Kidding. I love to brag.
Oh, that's one of those. I love to brag. Does anyone know who that voice is saying I love to brag? You get special points if you can identify who that voice clip was. Also, I think I summoned Vanessa. Thank you, Vanessa, for the 31 months. That is so many. If it was completed, the list would be 5 games at max. Borderlands 2, I have completed. Monster Road Trip, they're like really short sessions. So I have completed sessions in Monster Road Trip. It's not like a full game. Village, I have completed the main story. Teamfight and Tactics and Fortnite are multiplayer games that don't have an ending. So literally, so far, of these 6 games, only one of them is incomplete. Thank you very much. Escape Simulator, I think I only played this once in like January or something. But again, it was also on my list from last year. I really like Escape Simulator because I just really like escape rooms. Again, it's one of those things that is also more fun because it's something you can play with other people. But I just really like escape rooms. So, Phasmophobia. Phas is a game I've been playing since release. I played a lot of it last year. I played only a little bit of it this year. But obviously I've been playing it for years. I still enjoy it. Although I am mad at Phas. They had a bunch of big updates this year, which included like complete resets. And so everyone has been set completely to level 0, and they have like a new leveling up system, a new system for like getting equipment. So I'm now like right at the bottom of the level with like no equipment. It's really hard to gain levels now. The game is a lot harder. And so for those of us who had been playing for years, it does feel a bit like a stab in the back to now not be able to do anything properly. So I'm kind of mad at Phas for that reason. But I'm not going to let it taint my overall view of my overall experience with that game yet. We'll see how I feel in a year's time. Dreamlight Valley, I think I only opened this once this year. This entire year, I think I opened this game once. And I'm also pretty mad at this game for the fact that it was supposed to be free on official release, and then at the very last minute they backpedaled and said actually you have to pay pay for it as a full price game now, and also there's this DLC you have to pay for. I just feel like it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth now, honestly. But because I did enjoy some of my experience with it, I'm not putting it straight to trash, but I don't know if I'll ever open that game again because, like, I'm kind of too mad about what they did. honestly. Fall Guys. I think I played this for my birthday stream, and I think I've only played it a couple of times outside of that. I don't play it very often, but whenever I do play it, I have a good time. I do always have a good time when I play it, even though like it's fairly simple. So like maybe I should put it in good, okay, fine. But then at the same time, whenever I play it, I do have fun. So, Sims 4, good. I'm putting it the same place I put it last year. Good, okay, fine. Because Sims 4 will never be good enough in my eyes, especially compared to previous games and all the things that they could have done and could have just taken from previous games they didn't do, and therefore pretty much just made this an inferior Sims, other than the fact that the graphics are better and it doesn't crash. Because Sims 3 I absolutely loved, but it was a little bit same in looks, and the game crashed a lot. So it's difficult to play The Sims 3 because of the crashing issues. But otherwise, The Sims 4 is just not fantastic. It's not fantastic. And like, the only expansion that I've even played for The Sims 4 that I actually thought, I'm having a lot of fun with this, was that cottage living one. Otherwise, I have had no other experience with The Sims 4 where I'm like, this is actually so good, I want to play more of this. I don't know. Like, I open it up every now and then, I spend some hours in it, but I'm also just, part of me is just always disappointed. DBD. I think I'll put it the same place I put it last year, which is good, okay, fine. If you had asked me, like, 3 or 4 years ago, this would have gone straight to the love category. And I still have a lot of love for DBD for the fact that my best friends are my best friends, essentially, because of this game. So I do have a lot of love for Dead by Daylight. However, all of the changes they have made to the game over the past, 2 years have made it a not so fun experience for survivors. So I don't really ever feel motivated to open this game anymore. The only reason it is my second most played game on Steam, it was still my second most played game on Steam this year, but the only reason I think that is because Ali streams it weekly, and whenever I'm not working, on the occasions I'm not working, I do often jump into her streams and play DBD with her. So, I'll still play it with friends occasionally, but everything they've done to that game frustrates me, essentially, which is why I don't feel like I'd put it any higher, because I don't, in good conscience, recommend that game anymore, especially if you're wanting to play as a survivor. But the reason it wouldn't go lower is because it does still have that place in my heart, you know? They kicked us out of our own hangout game. They kicked the Slaughter Squad out of the place that they got slaughtered. Mario Kart, we talked about this last year. You'll know I don't like Mario Kart. So you may ask yourselves, why do you keep playing it? It's because friends play it, okay? I bought this game last year because I have friends who play it semi-regularly and play it on stream and stuff and have community game nights. So I still play it occasionally for that reason. / I played it at work because we had this van come in. It's like a youth van thing, and they had a bunch of video games on it, and one of my classes, they asked me to play Mario Kart with them, so I also played Mario Kart at work. I've just never loved Mario Kart in any form I've ever played it. It just feels wrong. I don't know why I physically cannot get around it. It just feels wrong, and every time I play it, I just wish I was playing Crash Team Racing. So that's where it's going. Speaking of, pretty much every May, because that's the one time where Nathan will do anything that I want to do, basically. Basically around my birthday, for my birthday every year, pretty much, I play Crash Team Racing, because Nathan's not a huge fan of it, but since it's my birthday, he'll do what I want to do. So I often play Crash Team Racing in May. Why is it doing this? Okay, well apparently Crash Team Racing is now broken, but that's Crash Team Racing, and it's I love Crash Team Racing. Everyone, this is Crash Team Racing. I don't know why it's broken. This is another game that I'm not even 100% sure that I played this year, but I think I opened it at least once or twice. I think. But you'll know I don't like this game. I haven't finished it because I just can't motivate myself to finish it. I like some of the new Pokemon they introduced, but overall that game just feels empty, and I just not a huge fan. Crush Team Racing is the best racing game to ever exist. You shush your mouth. This is actually the very first game I played this year. I played this on like the 1st of January. You Will Not Remain. It's actually a little game that one of my friends is actually the game devs for, which is why I picked it up. It is free. You can download it for free on Steam, and it's very short. So I played it in like one sitting on the first, I'm pretty sure it was like the first day of the year. And because it is my friend's game, I'm a little hesitant, but I don't think I think this is like where I would genuinely put it. Like, if nothing else, you can all trust me to always be honest. I really like the like concept of this game. It's kind of like exploring like isolation and those kind of emotions and stuff. And so I think it was like well done in some ways, but it just wasn't like my favorite thing in the way it was executed fully, I guess. But it was still good, okay, fine. It wasn't a bad experience. It just wasn't one of my favorite experiences from the year. So, Little Misfortune. I don't know why this is doing it. This did not do this to me last year. Everything is breaking. Okay. Little Misfortune. I am emotionally scarred. This game broke me. I genuinely had like tears welling in my eyes by the end of this game. But listen, Little Misfortune was like effective at what it was doing. Let's just say that. Just little weird experience. Heartbreaking. Cat Cafe Manager is exactly what it sounds like. It's a little game where you have a little cafe and cats. It's very cute. Like, I'd probably recommend it for certain people. I don't think it would be a thing for everyone, but at the same time, like, it's nothing like amazing or that I feel particularly drawn to go to very often. It's one of those things that, like, if I'm in a Discord call with people or something and I just want something to like idly do in the background, I might open this up. But it's not something that I'm ever like wanting to put my full focus on, if that makes sense. But it's still like good for what it is. My favorite Final Fantasy 9. Is not only my favorite Final Fantasy, but it is probably my favorite game of all time. This is Monster Camp. I'm sorry, y'all don't get to see the images bigger because I'm afraid it's going to break them all. But this is Monster Camp, which previously I would have put lower because for some reason, oh, is this going to break it if I try to resize it? No. Previously, I would have put lower. This is the second Monster Prom game, but I've been revisiting it this week and I have actually been really enjoying it. I'd only played it once previously and never gone back to it. And for some reason, that one session had made me feel iffy about it, but I've been enjoying going back to it this week. So I'm going to put it up there with my overall love for the Monster Prom franchise. Coral Island. This is a game I need to spend more time with because it only came out, in November? And then I didn't play very many video games in like the end of November going into December because I was just so busy. So I need to spend more time with it. But all the time that I have spent with it, I have really enjoyed. This is one of my favorite things I've played this year, even though my time in it is much lower than some others, but that's only because it came out so late in the year and then I've been busy. I have really enjoyed what I've been playing of it, so I'm putting it up there, which is kind of shocking in the fact of, I talked about last year how like cozy games, as much as I can like spend time in them and enjoy them, they're not usually like my favorite things. So for me to feel that strongly about this kind of cozy game is actually a pretty big thing. So I need to play more, but I've been loving what I've been playing of it. Spyro. Nostalgically, Spyro is one of my favorite games. Like, Spyro is one of the very first games I ever played. Obviously, we were playing this in November for Nostalgic November. And so now I have slightly mixed feelings just because I'm not great at platformers. And especially because I had some days I was really sick and stuff trying to play this game when I was sick. And so like my coordination and everything was much lower than usual even. That wasn't a fun experience. So I think for those reasons, I'm not putting it at the top. But I still have love for Spyro. Doomsday Paradise. Doomsday Paradise is actually a game I got a game key for. This is the first time that I have ever been sent a game key, like before the release of a game to try out or, you know, potentially review and stuff. So that was pretty exciting in and of itself. But also, this is another game that's very similar to Monster Prom. It's a very similar type of game, but also with like some combat type stuff in it. But I haven't played enough of it yet. I haven't spent enough time with it for me to feel as strongly about it as I do about Monster Prom, but I have enjoyed what I've played. So it's been a good time. It's been a good time. Very similar thing where you can, you know, date monsters. Anyways, House of Ashes is one of the Dark Anthology games. We did play this on stream. The overall game was like fine. Like, it was fun enough. It wasn't my favorite of these types of games I've played, but also I hated the ending. I hated the ending of House of Ashes. It made everything feel so pointless, and like maybe arguably that makes it effective because it is like in the horror genre, but also I was just mad. And I didn't like love this game, as I said, as much as some of the other of these types of horror story games I've played. So I'm putting in good, okay, fine. Inside. I'm scarred. I'm scarred by Inside, especially the ending of Inside. I guess I would still recommend it though, even though I don't know how to feel. The ending of Inside was something, but a horror platformer, as much as I said, you know, I'm bad at platformers and stuff, for some reason these kind of horror platformers I do generally enjoy, but this one was freaking messed up. It was messed up. The ending to Inside is so weird, and it just ends, and you're just left there like, wait, this is it? This is it? And it doesn't like end either. You're kind of just like left staring at this thing, being like, wait, is anything else gonna happen? No, we're just staring at this. This is it. This is where we've been led. This is it. Yeah, Inside was something. Speaking of like difficult platformers, Crash Bandicoot. Played one session of this, trying to play the first Crash Bandicoot game, or like the remaster of it, and it was freaking hard. Spyro, I, you know, was having some moments of failure with Spyro, but it's not like a impossibly difficult game to begin with, other than those like the freaking time trial levels. Like, it's very, you know, it's not that difficult if you're competent. Right? Crash Bandicoot is actually freaking hard though. You have to be so on point with your timings, etc. So like, I don't not recommend it, but I also don't have like strongly positive feelings about it, considering I like rage quit on stream and went and played something else. So I'm gonna put it here. I never really played Crash Bandicoot as a child either. I think other than maybe some demos or like when it was other places, I didn't own it. So anyways, look, platforming games are not my strong suit. I'm admitting to this. Resident Evil 5, I only played once, and I did not have a good experience. However, I don't think that that's necessarily I don't think that's necessarily the fault of the game itself. So I'm putting it here, like, because I haven't revisited it. It's just going there. It wasn't a super fun time for not just the reasons of the game itself. So we're just gonna put it there. I don't have much to say about it. Like, the gameplay itself was like just fine to me anyway. I did play it in co-op, and that was part of the problem. The Devil in Me. This is a Dark Anthology game that I actually really enjoyed. I really liked this game. In terms of the Dark Anthology games, I've played 3 of them. I've played 3 of the Dark Anthology games, and I've also played The Quarry, which is the same type of game. And of all of those horror story games that I've played, The Devil in Me has been my favorite. This one's in like the murder hotel. It was a good time. It was a good time. We played that on stream as well. I see that your trash is a little empty. Don't worry. It won't be empty by the end. Don't worry. Oh yeah, technically I played like 5 minutes of Mario Wonder, yes. It's not on here. I mean, 1, I kind of forgot about that, but 2, I've played 5 minutes of it. I don't know if 5 minutes of a demo really warrants it being on a tier list, but I did play the tiniest bit of it at PAX this year, yes. There were one or two other demos that I've played this year that I didn't include either because I'd only played a tiny sliver of a demo. We Happy For You. I only played this once this year, but I have played it in the past. And this is a game, this is like a horror-ish, kind of, I guess it falls in the horror category. This is a game that did really poorly when it got released, and yet I've always really enjoyed this game. So, like, technically, should I recommend this necessarily? No, because it did poorly. A lot of people, I guess, must not like this game. But I like this game. I need to continue this playthrough. I started a new playthrough this year and I need to continue it because I enjoy this game, even if no one else does. Two Point Campus, which has now disappeared, is one of those like simulator games where you are making like a university campus, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It does exactly what it needs to in terms of that. So like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not necessarily my favorite type of game. But it's the type of game that every now and then I get the feeling like I want to play. So I downloaded and played this because every now and then I'm like, I just want to play like a mindless simulator type game. So like it's good for what it is. So that's where the missing 2 Point Campus goes. Thirsty Suitors is another game that I need to continue. I started this recently-ish because it's a recent-ish release, I think. And this game has very much like Scott Pilgrim vibes. Nothing too serious, it's just fun, and I've enjoyed what I've played of it. I need to get back to it, but I have enjoyed what I've played of it. Cooking simulator. So I was like, I like cooking in real life. Let's download Cooking Simulator so I can cook digitally too. I did not anticipate how like difficult it would actually be to maneuver and do stuff in this game. And I was struggling so much, I was like, let's go watch some YouTube videos of like other people playing this game. Like, is it actually this difficult or am I doing something wrong? One, I was kind of like doing it wrong because there's a specific way you have to do stuff that wasn't outlined. Like when I opened it, there wasn't any kind of tutorial or anything. And so I was trying to do things too much how I would like normally actually cook. And so that wasn't working. So it was partially that, but also partially seems to also sometimes be difficult. I mean, I watched like Markiplier's playthrough of Cooking Simulator and I couldn't stop laughing. So like, it's probably fine, but I just found it too difficult. Guardians of the Galaxy, another thing I started sometime and then never got around to continuing, but another thing that I enjoyed what I played of. I don't even know if I still have access to this because I don't know how Game Pass works. It was a game that was leaving Game Pass. And so I don't know if once it's left Game Pass, you can't play it anymore, even if you downloaded it when it was part of Game Pass. I don't know how that works. I haven't tested it yet, but I started it and I enjoyed what I played of it. Oh, this is something I actually have to make bigger because it's disappeared down there. Why is everything broken? How do you say this? Suika? Or the watermelon game? Which was kind of the Switch sensation this year that everyone was playing. And so I got sucked in and wanted to play it too. And it's a very simple type of game, but it's also a very addicting type of game. It's also very satisfying when you beat the top score that your partner had previously made on your game. So it's such a simple little thing. You're just like matching fruit, but it's also just... it's an addicting fun time, and it's not even there. The only way to have it there is to have it much larger than everything else. Wildflowers is something I have on my Switch. Another thing I haven't played very much of yet, but again, what I've played of it, I have enjoyed. So I'm gonna need to like make some space here. Another thing I need to play more of, but I have enjoyed what I've played of it. Just Dance, gonna be okay. Despite the opinion Zeb seemed to have at the start of stream, I just really like dancing okay, and sometimes it doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. Also, I, before this year, did not really know that Just Dance had lore, and so discovering the lore of Just Dance has been really interesting. Who knew Just Dance had lore? I sure didn't, but I just really like dancing, and I'm not going to apologize for that. What kind of lore? Like, for instance, the main thing I know about is there's these two characters who throughout various Just Dance games, you basically get to see their relationship form and end and the aftermath. So there's this character who like wears a wedding dress in some of the dances. Like I think she was in like, one of the songs she's been in is like Hot and Cold. And, you know, obviously there's a bunch of different songs they've been in. And then there's also a Rasputin character who obviously is like the coach for the song Rasputin. And you kind of see that they get into a relationship together. And then they split up. And in the recent Just Dance game that's come out, so the 2024, there's a Fall Out Boy song in that, and the coach for the Fall Out Boy song is Rasputin, and Rasputin is like dressed like an F-boy, and there's like scenes, like a broken wedding scene in the background. So across these dances and these games, you do see like the progression of this relationship where they get together, and then it looks like maybe he like cheated or something, and then there's I think it's Sweet But Psycho, where the like bride character was in, where like she's half wedding dress and like half all like different and messed up. Like there's a whole story, and there's all this different lore with like different characters. That's just like one example. Rasputin always messing things up. Anyways, back on topic. This is Monster Prom. I haven't played Monster Prom on Steam at all this year, but I've actually played the Monster Prom franchise a lot more than some people may realize, because I may have also gotten Monster Prom on my Switch. So I have been playing Monster Prom on my Switch. So there we go. The entire Monster Prom franchise, all 3 games, gets to sit up the top there, because I've been playing all 3 of them. This is Jackbox 6. The only reason I've opened Jackbox 6 this year is for, what's it called? Murder Party Trivia, whatever that's called. I really like that, because I really like trivia. I'm not a big fan of most Jackbox games though. Most of them I could do without, or in some cases, some Jackbox games have actually had really negative impacts on some of my friendships. So I'm not a huge fan of Jackbox overall, but I really love the trivia games. So we're just gonna put it there. Last 2. We're up to the last 2 games. And one of them is a mystery game. Before I reveal what this game is, does anyone want to guess what it might be? Because you may notice that the trash is empty, and I did promise you that trash would not be empty by the end of this list. So does anyone want to guess what the hidden game may be before I reveal it? I have not played Starfield. I have not played Starfield. Although, like, I still have Game Pass, so I think it's on Game Pass, so I would have access to it. But I have not played Starfield. Anyway, before I reveal the trash, this is obviously Baldur's Gate 3, which is my favorite game of the year. My favorite game of the year is Baldur's Gate 3. It is my most played game on Steam this year. It only, like, to put this in perspective, I've played over 100 hours of Baldur's Gate, which may not seem like a lot to some people, but when you consider this only came out near the end of the year, and there was a month near the end of the year that I barely played video games because I was so busy. Essentially, I've only played Baldur's Gate 3, I think over like 3 separate months. And, you know, I work full time and stuff. So for me to have played over 100 hours of it is actually kind of a big deal over a few months. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is my favorite game of the year. I haven't quite finished my playthrough yet. I am in Act 3 of my main playthrough. But I have been loving that game. Like, my only problem with it is that it does crash and have some graphical issues. Although Act 1 was fine, I just started having issues when I got into Act 2. So I have had some issues, and now in Act 3, there's like one mansion I cannot go into without my game crashing. And outside of that, I've loved this game. Overrated game? How dare? How dare? Oh wow, shocker. What, you think, how many of you could have guessed that that was my favorite game of the year? They were both rejected by Astarion, it shows. I mean, I was rejected by Astarion, but like, I rejected him too. Like I was rejected by him without actually like wanting to have anything to do with him. I really don't like Astarion, actually. And I remember I had one conversation with him and he said something to me like, oh, not you, I would never like sleep with you. And I was like, same, dude. Same, actually. Thank you very much. He also recently left my party permanently. So, oh well, bye Astarion, you're no longer in my game. Anyways, the last game that's here, it's League of Legends, in fact. Some people know how I feel about the main League of Legends game, and so you may wonder, why did I play it at all then? And it is because a certain friend of mine decided that what he wanted to do was, for his 30th, was to go to a gaming bar and have a League of Legends tournament. And apparently I was not allowed to opt out of the tournament. He made me not only play it, but he recruited me to his team. Technically I was part of the winning team. However, technically I also walked out before the final round because I could not deal with having to play another game of this game. I don't even know exactly what it is, but I just do not enjoy playing this game at all. I mean, the community is another thing of how toxic that community can be, but I just don't enjoy playing the game. And I can't even explain to you exactly why I hate it so much. But I love so much else about League. I love the characters, the lore, the art style. Obviously I enjoy Teamfight Tactics, which is technically a League of Legends game. I also adore Arcane. And so some people may remember and know that I did actually cosplay a League of Legends character technically this year, but I just hate the main game of League of Legends. So it is the one special edition that gets to go in this trash category. This category is just for you, League. I hope you feel special, and you can't even see it because okay, there we go. As soon as I put it any smaller, it disappears. So there we go. Those are the video games I played in 2023. Everything is exactly where it belongs. Let me know what your opinions are, whether you agree, disagree. There are things that you would place elsewhere. I have already forgotten what these two games were because they've disappeared. I don't know if anyone else remembers, but I've already forgotten. That's what I played and how I ranked them. Bum, bum, bum. Just Dance is... How is Just Dance not a game? It has game mechanics. It has progression. It has different characters. And it has lore. It has all of the elements of a game. Arguably, there are other things I have played that are less of a game than Just Dance. Because they don't have all of those things. You can't sit down and therefore it's not a game. So every VR game, every Kinect game are not actually games. I miss Kinect. There's my tier list. Judge as you will.